is the Dalai Lama? For millions, he's the face of Tibetan Buddhism and a Nobel laureate. But he's also a powerful political symbol representing a nation without a state and a culture under threat. His presence challenges China's narrative and keeps the Tibetan struggle alive. For UPSC aspirants, the Dalai Lama is a lesson in diplomacy, soft power, and international relations. As the 14th Dalai Lama, Tenzin Gyatso, he's seen as the reincarnation of Avalokiteshvara, giving him immense spiritual authority. Since his exile in 1959, he's led the Tibetan diaspora, embodying their hopes for autonomy and cultural preservation. Every statement he makes is scrutinized by world leaders and the Chinese Communist Party, who see him as a separatist. His middle-way approach, seeking genuine autonomy within China, blends spirituality with high-stakes politics. For India, he's both a revered guest and a strategic challenge, symbolizing democratic values and a persistent point of friction with China. The Dalai Lama's story is a masterclass in resilience, identity politics, and the enduring power of influence beyond military might. To understand today's Tibetan issue, we must revisit its past. Tibet once enjoyed de facto autonomy, with its own government and culture, led by the Dalai Lamas from Lhasa. This changed in 1950 when China invaded, claiming Tibet as its own. The 17-point agreement promised autonomy, but was soon undermined by Chinese policies. In 1959, a popular uprising in Lhasa was brutally crushed, forcing the young Dalai Lama to flee. Disguised as a soldier, he escaped across the Himalayas to India, where Prime Minister Nehru granted him asylum. This act redefined India-China relations and began a new chapter for Tibetans in exile. In Dharamshala, the Dalai Lama established a government in exile, preserving Tibetan culture and advocating globally. The 1959 escape marked the start of a resilient diaspora and a continuing struggle for identity. The Dalai Lama's influence reaches far beyond Tibet. Awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989, he became a global symbol of non-violence and human rights. His presence in India boosts its soft power, contrasting sharply with China's authoritarian image. The Central Tibetan Administration in Dharamshala is a functioning democracy, managing the affairs of Tibetan refugees worldwide. The Tibetan diaspora, inspired by the Dalai Lama, keeps the cause alive through advocacy and cultural outreach. His meetings with world leaders anger Beijing and highlight Tibet's unresolved status. For India, every accolade for the Dalai Lama complicates ties with China, forcing a delicate diplomatic balance. China sees any support for him as a threat to its sovereignty. India must juggle its moral commitment to Tibet with the realities of its relationship with China. The Dalai Lama remains both a source of pride and a diplomatic challenge for New Delhi. China's approach to the Dalai Lama is aggressive and calculated. Through Sinicization, Beijing seeks to erase Tibetan identity and control religious institutions. The Panchen Lama controversy shows China's intent to dominate the reincarnation process, ensuring future Tibetan leaders are loyal to the Communist Party. China's propaganda paints the Dalai Lama as a separatist, pressuring countries to shun him. The looming succession crisis is critical. The Dalai Lama insists his reincarnation won't be born in Chinese territory, while Beijing claims the right to choose his successor. This could result in two rival Dalai Lamas, one chosen by Tibetans in exile, another by China, deepening the divide. The succession will have major geopolitical consequences, with global attention on the outcome. China's strategy is to weaken the Dalai Lama's influence and control the future of Tibetan Buddhism. The world watches as the succession crisis approaches, knowing it will shape Tibet's fate for decades. For India, the Dalai Lama's presence is both an opportunity and a risk. India offers refuge and allows the Tibetan government in exile to function, using this as subtle leverage with China. Yet, hosting the Dalai Lama is seen by Beijing as a provocation, fueling border tensions. India's options are limited. Overt support for Tibet could escalate conflict, while distancing itself would betray its values and weaken its soft power. India walks a middle path, recognizing Tibet as part of China officially, but supporting Tibetan culture and identity unofficially. The Dalai Lama's life is a lesson in non-violent resistance and diplomatic complexity. As the succession crisis nears, India's ability to balance principle and pragmatism will be tested. The challenge: uphold Dharma while managing a volatile relationship with China.